What if the affordability plan makes homes less affordable? At least for now. That's the claim. The government wants faster approvals, cheaper builds, and public land leases. Love it. But here's the catch. Demand boosters are rolling out alongside supply that depends on municipalities fixing multi-year permitting delays. So you get more buyers with easier mortgages and cleaner credit profiles competing for the same limited listings. We'll show how the Tenant Protection Fund and a renter's bill of rights reduce displacement. Good, but also keep more bidders in the market while we wait for cranes to actually move. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. You're told affordability help is coming, and yet buying a starter home now feels like trying to snag a limited sneaker drop at 10 a.m. sharp. You click fast, the site crashes, and somehow it's sold out before the page loads. Same vibe in real estate. The aid lands, the line gets longer, and the shelf space hasn't changed. Here's the thing. When supply is stuck in traffic, help aimed at first-time buyers and renters acts like gasoline. The grants, the tax shelters, the softer underwriting, great intentions, pour more qualified shoppers onto the same block. You don't get fewer bids, you get sharper ones. And sellers read that like a green light. We keep hearing about faster builds, but the approval maze still eats months like candy. Municipal permits run long, and big projects move at a speed that would embarrass a dial-up modem. While we wait, lenders pump out more pre-approvals, and listings barely budge. So the pressure rises where the inventory is thinnest: starter houses and entry condos. Now the twist you didn't see coming. 30-year amortization doesn't make the sticker price drop. It lets you bid more per dollar of monthly payment without a raise. Stretch the loan term, and your allowed payment buys a bigger mortgage. At a mid-5S rate, the jump from 25 to 30 years lifts maximum purchase power by roughly low double digits. Call it around 12%, give or take, depending on rate and stress tests. Same paycheck, bigger offer. Run it clean. Say you're comfortable at a fixed monthly number. On a 25-year schedule at about 5.5%, that payment caps you at one ceiling. Switch to 30 years. Keep the payment identical, and your ceiling moves up by about an eighth. If everyone doing starter homes gets that boost, the top bid floats up across the whole stack of similar units. Not because granite counters got shinier, but because the math lets you push. And we're not done. The tax-free First Home Savings Account loads more down payment ammo, and couples can stack those balances. That's quiet firepower. A thicker down payment smooths approvals, reduces mortgage insurance, and stretches your bid ceiling right when a dozen other couples are eyeing the same one bed near transit. It doesn't announce itself. It just shows up on offer night. Layer in renter protections. A renter's bill of rights and a tenant protection fund anchor people who might have been forced to move. That's a win for stability. It also means fewer distressed exits. So instead of bidders falling out of the pool, they stay pre-approved and ready, circling the same limited listings longer. Higher floor on demand, same ceiling on supply. I watched a basic downtown condo that used to pull 8 offers start drawing 12 after the mortgage rule chatter hit group chats. Nothing fancy. Mid-floor, average light, the kind of unit you buy to start your equity arc. The only thing that changed was who could play. More pre-approvals walked in. Sellers smiled. The closing price nudged up a notch, then another. So, the mini payoff. These policies cushion households. They lower monthly stress, offer legal help, and open doors that were jammed shut. But when construction timelines lag and approvals crawl, those cushions compress into extra bidding power, not lower price tags. It's real. It's happening. The market doesn't hand out discounts because financing got kinder. It recalibrates around the new max. And if the demand pedal is pinned already, you're not ready for what the credit tweaks do next. When rent turns into score and score turns into a cheaper rate tier, pre-approval pools don't just grow, they level up. Let that sink in. So what happens when years of on-time rent suddenly count like a golden ticket? You go from thin file to real buyer without changing your salary by a penny. That's the quiet flip. The plan to pull rent history into credit checks is fair and overdue. Landlords get paid. Tenants get credit. Love it. But here's the catch. When a big wave of renters levels up at once, the pre-approval line stretches while the listing board stays stubbornly short. Let's walk the pipeline in plain English. Your rent gets reported. Your score ticks up. That bump moves you into a cheaper mortgage rate tier or unlocks an approval that didn't exist last year. Now your pre-approval letter isn't a maybe, it's a yes. You and 100 people like you start bidding on the same two-bed near a decent coffee shop. Nothing about the neighborhood changed. The buyer pool did. Here's the thing most people miss. Score shifts don't just feel good, they change the math. When your profile climbs a tier, lenders trim the rate. Even a quarter to half a point matters. Drop 25 to 50 basis points, and your maximum purchase price rises in a way you feel in your bones on offer night. Same monthly budget, bigger mortgage approved. It's not a fortune. It's enough to outbid the person who didn't get the bump. And then we stack the down payment boosters. The expanded home buyers plan lets first-timers pull more from RRSPs, up to $60,000 under the budget 2024 proposal. So the gap between what you can save and what you need gets smaller. Add the tax-free first home savings account, and couples show up with heavier down payments than the listing expected. That reduces mortgage insurance, strengthens underwriting, and nudges your ceiling higher. It's additive. It compounds. Think of it like a video game lobby where everyone's running the same map with the same number of loot boxes. Overnight, half the players get faster GPUs. They lock targets quicker and win more drops. Prices don't reflect the average player. They reflect the top player in the room. Real estate moves the same way. The most juiced pre-approvals set the pace, and the rest of the pack either pays up or sits out. There's an edge case that looks soft-hearted and still matters to prices. Non-market protections, tenant protection fund, a renter's bill of rights. Keep vulnerable renters housed. That's good policy for stability. It also means fewer forced exits. Fewer distressed listings trickle onto the market. So you get slightly tighter supply right where the new credit-upgraded buyers want to hunt. Not a tidal wave, but a steady headwind. So here's the thing. Credit upgrades don't just open the door, they raise the bid limit. A renter whose score jumped now qualifies at a lower rate tier and plugs the down payment hole with RRSPs and FHSA. That buyer shows up on a starter condo near transit with a cleaner file and a bigger cap. Multiply that by thousands, and you don't magically get cheaper closings. You get stronger offers clustered on the same few units, especially in neighborhoods where you can walk to a train and a grocery store. You're not ready for what comes next, because all of this assumes supply will bail us out fast. It won't. So where does that leave the grand construction push everyone keeps promising? Let's talk execution risk versus the actual timeline that builders and permits live on.